welcome to Gemma Darling Daily. I'm your host Danielle, and I'm sure you've forgotten that because I have not podcasted in so long. This is episode 3, and usually I'm supposed to do one a month. That is what I shoot for. So since this is the end of July, beginning of August, this should be episode 7 or 8, and it's not. It's episode 3 because there's too much going on in the world, and I cannot find time to podcast, and I'm so sorry. I don't want you all to think that you're not important to me. You really are. And I love everyone that has come with me through this journey of podcasting to see the same whips over and over again and nothing get finished. I really appreciate that you show up for me week after week and all that blah, blah, blah. So I could go right into yarn stuff. I could talk about the state of the crazy world, or I could just tell you in my usual fashion why I haven't podcasted in a long time. And it's just really hard to get up to the attic sometimes. My sister sold her house because of this bubble that's going on. And my mother, because of COVID, moved in with us because we're still kind of mostly locked down. And my sister moved into my mother's house for a little while. And so it's just, everything's up in the air. And she's trying to find a new house as quickly as she can, but she doesn't want to just grab anything, obviously. And so it's been a crazy journey. And my bangs, I'm growing them out for the season, so they're going to annoy me the whole episode. And I mean, you know, I've just been watching a lot of my friends lose their fathers lately, and it's just kind of like bringing up my emotions. It's almost 10 months without my dad. And in some ways it feels like yesterday, and in some ways it feels like he's been gone for a long time. I don't know why I'm having that weird bisection of feelings. I don't know why. But, you know, I hate the idea that I'm never going to see him again. It like drives me crazy. So anyway, I'm just really sorry to Vanessa, our Vanessa, who we all love, who lost her beloved father, who seemed like such an amazing guy. He loved my gingerbread cookies, which used to make me happy. And I'm really sorry, Vanessa. I'm sorry you have to feel what I'm feeling. And last week, my friend Pam from college, she lost her dad. And it just seems like a lot of this is going on. And I never thought in my early 40s I'd be experiencing this stuff because I grew up with a family, a very big family around our table. And people that didn't really die until they were in their 80s and 90s. And now it seems like their 70s is becoming lethal. And I don't like that. I'm very upset about a lot of things going on in the world right now. I trying to get excited over little things, but I just tend to be cushioning my heart with a lot of retail therapy, which Andy's not really a fan of. So I will show you the stuff that I've bought. I probably don't even have all of it up here because I don't remember everything that I've bought, but we can go into an FO. Let's go into an FO and talk about some yarny goodness. Before I do that, I just want to thank you all for reaching out when Sammy turned 3. She turned 3 in mid-July, which is really, really fun. And also, I have Mr. Pooper right here with me, and he is doing really, really great after an emergency surgery. And so those of you that don't know, about a couple weeks ago, he just wasn't eating well. His back looked really wrenched, like this. And usually, you know, doxies are very flat, but so when they're like this, it's like they're protecting their belly or something, or their back hurts. And we had back surgery for him years ago, and it was very successful, and he's doing very well. But he was just kind of off. And then, you know, he drank a ton of water one night, and Andy picked him up, and he just bleh, all over. And it wasn't food, so we didn't know what made him vomit. Sorry for the TMI. So we brought him to the emergency room, the doggy emergency room, which is full of amazing doctors. And an x-ray showed that there was a mass on his spleen, and it could rupture at any time. And so even though this dog is rounding 17 years old, according to our calculations, Andy's mom adopted him, and she thought he was 8 years old when she adopted him, and that was about 8.5 years ago. So we think that he's about 16 3/4. But for the most part, he has a great quality of life. He's happy usually. He just sleeps a lot like an old dog does. And so we did opt for the surgery, and he's doing great. He's doing great. He's a little tired. So, you okay, Bubby? Yeah, go take a nap. Okay. So he's napping, and if he wakes up, I'll bring him over here in a little while. But he's doing really great. And I think everyone at the ER was like, are you crazy? You're going to have a surgery on like a 17-year-old dog? And we were just like, not ready to let this dog go. And that doesn't mean that I would opt to, like, you know, give him surgeries that are massively uncomfortable just for my benefit of keeping him. Like, if his quality of life is good, then we opt for it, you know? So, you okay, bud? I think he's hungry. Andy's at the park with the girls right now with my mom, so as soon as they get home, Andy will feed him. He gets the farmer's dog, that fancy dog food, because only the best for Mr. Pooper. So, anyway, it is really good, though, and he loves it. I'm going to start out with an FO, which is kind of an FO. It's the Corinne Cardi by, well, it's by Vanessa Reyes, but it's for the Knit Collage Mal, which was a make-along this time because there was crochet. So it wasn't a knit-along, it was a Mal because there was knit and crochet. So it was a make-along. And let me grab it over here. First of all, let me say how proud I am of Vanessa. She's living her dream. She always wanted to be a knitwear designer, and she's got some great stuff under her sleeves. So if you are not part of the Knit Collage Cals, please look into that. They're also taking new members for their Creative Knitters Club. It's a little steep in price. I think it's in the 400s, but you get a full year of there's just so much stuff. You have to look into it. First of all, you get $10 a month back in money to spend on the yarn, which you're going to do if you join this. Obviously, you like Knit Collage, so you're going to spend money with them. So basically, the $400 goes down to like $280 for the year if you really think about it, because you're getting the money back. And then there's 2 virtual retreats. I think they're like about 6 months apart. You get first dibs on the knit-along kits. And every month, I believe, there's, well, they do lots of like virtual, just, you know, sit and knits, you know, sit and sip and knits on Zoom. And then you also get, I believe, once a month, or maybe more, I think it's once a month, a seminar on how to do a new craft, or something. Someone from the knitting community just sits there and gives a presentation. So it's a really great community. I do highly recommend it, since a lot of us are knitting from home right now. And also, if you're like, I'm not really into Knit Collage because the yarn is so fat, they're coming out with thinner yarns, and so there's a lot of new stuff happening, and it's a good time to jump in. So I would jump into the Creative Knitters if you are able. I know it is steep in price, but I'm telling you, you do get a lot. So there you go. Anyway, back to the Corinne Cardi. I made it into a vest because I was a little, I don't know, like when it came to seaming it, I was really scared. And you know what? Once I started doing it, it is so easy. It's so easy. And I can crochet. I'm not some master crocheter or anything, but I was really proud to do this. I've done my granny square blanket, which is somewhere around here. And this time I did granny squares. And you make like a ton of granny squares with their wildflower yarn, which is, where is it? This type of yarn, which is, it's like a fabric that's been torn into strips. And at first you're kind of like, how do I knit with this? How do I crochet with this? And then it just becomes second nature. It's so boho looking. I love it. You know me with the boho. I love it. And so I made a bunch, and you know, you put them all together. There you go. And so I made 2 of each, because I'm very meticulous with I couldn't just randomly pick up a ball of this and pick up a ball of this. I had to have it planned out, because that's who I am. And so I made it 3 long. It was only supposed to be 2, and there was supposed to be an extra row of crochet in the middle to elongate it. But I didn't particularly like the extra row and how far apart the granny squares were when you did that. So I made mine 3 long and put an extra row at the bottom here. So when I made the strips, you have to make it into strips before you put it together. I put the extra crochet along the top of the strip and along what was going to be in the bottom. So the squares, as you can see, are equidistant from one another, but I did have a buffer at the top and at the bottom, so that when you put it into your little vestige here, which is not the right word, I'm just using it to be funny, you have a little bit of a shoulder, and then your granny square falls on your back. Because if I hadn't done that, the granny squares would have been very high up here on my shoulder, and they wouldn't have sat here on my chest. So, how come every time I'm podcasting and I do my makeup, I get a piece of fuzz on my eyelashes? I don't know. It's just what happens. And then I have to pick at it the whole time. But I really, really love it. It's this cute little vest. It's very bohemian. And I'm going to put sleeves on it because I would like to wear it more as a sweater instead of a vest. But I really, really loved the pattern. And I know that Vanessa's got another sort of real boho jacket in store for the next knit along, make along, crochet along, whatever you want to call it, the make along. And I don't know if you guys, you know, Penny Lane. It's so Penny Lane. Like, I love it. It's gorgeous. And so I would love you guys to really join in to the Knit Collage Cal. I believe they have an option where you can get the tutorials and the pattern separate from buying the yarn. If knit collage is not your thing and you want to make it with your own yarns, I believe there's an option for that. I'm not completely sure, so please don't hold me to that, but I believe there is. But I do urge you to try the yarns. They're beautiful and they're different. They're different, which is nice because sometimes we just get stuck in the monotony of buying the exact same skein over and over again, and it's something that you love, but you don't end up using, it goes in your stash. The Knit Collage yarn, oh, it's way over there. I can't even grab it right now. But do I have any over here? No. Wait. Yeah, some. I have some in here. I have like bags everywhere. This is this green that I think it's discontinued. I got it in a special grab bag, but as you can see, it's so thick, easy to work with. If you make a mistake, you pull it out and your stitches don't drop. They just sit there because it's so thick. So if you're a beginning knitter, if you haven't done bulky yarns, I do say try it. And Vanessa, I love this. I am going to put the sleeves on it. I'm not sure if I'm going to crochet the sleeves or knit them, as the pattern calls for knitted sleeves, big balloon sleeves, and I love them. So I might try that. So we'll see. But there you go. And what's my favorite square of the whole thing? This one. I don't know why, but I love the way this square came out. I mean, but there's so many good ones. There's so many good ones. So many. I loved it. So you just make a bunch of squares and you seam them together, and every time I finish a new project, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for seaming that together. I was very nervous about it. I'm just checking on Pooper when I look over. And is it hot up here, Pooper? You want me to put the air back on? Okay, I'll put the air back on. Which really nice about my husband having rigged the whole house together is that I can go to Nest and I can turn the air conditioner back on. And I'll make it nice and cool in here for you. You're hungry. Yeah, I know. Okay, he's coming. All right, let's see. It's 74. We're going to make it 72. We're going to put the air back on for you. You'll be good, Mr. Poops. There it goes. See? Okay. So I did make two things for this knit along, and we'll get back to that. I didn't weave in the ends or really finish this. This is called the Botanical Blanket. Now they have options sometimes for home goods in the Knit Collage Cal. I know, Knit Collage, I'm just really happy with Knit Collage lately. And this is really cool. I don't even know if I can give you justice and hold this up, so I'm just gonna cover my face and show you. This, oh, I can see through it right there in the middle. So it's a big flower, and it's got really cool edging on it with the wildflower yarn and these cool rosettes. And I am so happy with how this came out. I don't particularly like the colors that I used for the middle. I think I should have gone a little bit more neutral as I did for the outer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna re-knit the center star, and then I'm gonna try to catch all of these, I'm gonna catch all of the stitches, and then I'm gonna cut this out of it. I think it'll work. Who knows? I don't know when I'll get to it. I just really loved this pattern. It was simple, but it was different. You had to pay attention. I really, really love the flower that it makes. And I had it on the back of my couch in the living room. I just folded it because it's a 6-pointed flower, so it folds perfectly. So I had it folded like this, and I just sat it on the back of my couch. And I thought it was like really, really just beautiful in my living room as something that I made. And you know, like a lot of times we don't really get to use our makes as decor, so I thought that was really cool. So that was the Botanical Blanket. What else? I think those are really my only FOs. I know it's been months and I should have piles and piles of FOs, but if you guys know me, you know I don't. I have been working on another crochet project. Let me show you. Okay, you guys have all seen this before. This is the Daphne Afghan by TL Yarn Crafts, I believe, Tony Lipsy. And so here's my third panel. Okay, so I have it, I'm doing rainbow for Franny because everything is rainbow right now. And Franny loves rainbows. And so there you go. And I've been using yarn. I don't even remember what the yarn is called. It's right there. Should I get it? Okay. Okay, it's called Simply Worsted by Haiku. It is an acrylic, merino superwash, and nylon blend. I don't know if it's discontinued, but it's not super easy to find. I think Woolen Grace has a lot of it in Summit, New Jersey. So I ordered some and they sent it to me. And I just picked out colors that I thought made a really pretty rainbow. And it's great because it's worsted, but it's thick. I mean, it is really thick. Do you see that? So it really crochets up in no time. And I'm using this crochet hook that was my great grandmother's. Oh, I missed. And I don't even know what size it is. It's crocheting up really nicely. And I was helping one of my friends, Sarah Clear. Hey, Sarah. I was helping her because she was doing this and she couldn't figure out why it wasn't coming out straight on the bottom. So I picked up a needle, picked up a hook, and I picked up just a random ball of yarn. And I was like, oh, this is coming out nice. So I started making one. So thank you, Sarah. I really am enjoying the pattern, and it's all because of you. So I have 3 panels of it done. It calls for 4 panels. And then we have to seam them all together. So we're gonna seam them all. This will be the center of the blanket, and then this will be the outside. And then I have to run, so I started with the pink because the outside border of the whole thing is gonna be red. So I have a really nice tomato red that's gonna run around the whole blanket. It really is coming out nice. Like, I'm really happy with it. So I should finish that. Maybe I'll cast on the last panel of that tonight. And then the thing that's really been taking up a lot of my time is the Boho Beats shawl by Amanda Kafka. And I'm hooked on here. Okay, so I have some problems with this pattern. It's not a pattern I wouldn't recommend. My hair looks really, really bad. It's not a pattern I would recommend or not recommend. I think I chose the wrong yarn for it. So I chose this Hedgehog Fibers DK in the colorway Ozone, which I think is beautiful. It really is beautiful. And it doesn't look busy in the skein. But, you know, that's what swatching is for, and we never do it. We all laugh about how we don't do it, but the truth is we should do it, because then we end up with projects we like instead of projects where all of the hard work we're doing is hidden because we chose the wrong yarn. So I'm on the 3rd panel right now. There are 3 parts to it. First you start out with this, it's a triangle shawl. See? First you start out with a panel that is all baubles. You can see them. Can you see the baubles? It's extremely time consuming. It's intuitive. It's not unenjoyable. It's just extremely time consuming. And so when I went to, when I was looking at it as it was coming out, I'm going, you know, you really can't see the baubles very much because it's a very busy yarn. Like, you can see it from different angles here. But I originally had wanted to do it in this Chelsea Yarns, that's better. This Chelsea Yarns colorway that I had that was just like a snow white with these chocolate speckles in it. And I didn't use it. I was like, oh, maybe this will be too demure for it. And now I see it probably would have been perfect for it, and I should have done it. So anyway, I'm almost done. I'm finishing it. I don't love it because of the color. So maybe this will be Franny's shawl to take to school in case she gets cold. yes, you're right. I'm playing with my hair. Leave me alone. It's annoying me because I'm growing out my bangs. Let me tell you, having bangs is a constant struggle, especially when you're going thin here, which I am. And so every, like, you cut them, you love them, they get a little long, you cut them again, they're not the same, you have to grow them out and start again. That's basically how my life is. So, so you do the baubles. Then you do something really strange here. She has you bind off and pick up all these stitches. So you see you get this ridge. The thing that I don't particularly like was that I wasn't told to use Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off or a larger needle. So I think I'm doing this on an 8. Yes, I'm doing this on an 8. I really should have been told to do the bind off in maybe an 11, because that particular just plain bind off where you just, you know, knit through the back loop and then pull one over, it comes out very tight. And I was doing it as loose as I could, but it was still coming out tight. So I think when I block the shawl, it's going to give me a problem because I can't, this line in the middle here is not going to let this shawl grow to what it should be able to grow to. Not a big deal, but anyway. Then when she has you pick up the stitches, since you've taken the center stitch and brought a stitch over to it, the center stitch is now laying on its side, and it's not in the middle anymore. So when you pick up that stitch and then you start doing the pattern again, it's off to the side. And I went, oh, maybe I did it in the wrong stitch, so let me go back, and I did it in the one before it, and then it went to the other side. So I was like, that's just not a great direction there. I would say that instead of picking it up as a stitch over here, I would pick up under that whole bar. It's because I don't know how to say it. There's the center, and the bars are laying to the side. So instead of picking up this bar or this bar, right, I would pick up right here under this in the middle. Does that make any sense with my weird thumb action? So these are two stitches that are meeting and you have a hole under them, and I picked up, so when I did it again for the next round, I picked up the center hole, like just that random center hole. It wasn't one of the stitches that meant to be picked up, but I picked up that random, I can't even see this. You can't see this random center hole, and now this is all coming out straight in line again. I don't know, did I explain that? Because there's all of these yarn overs here next to the middle stitch. So it's going to be hidden under the fringe that goes on that layer. So it's really, I wasn't going to rip it out and fix it and do this and that, because the layer, I'm trying to figure out how to show you guys this better. Let's see. Up here, I'm trying to do it. Let's see. Here we go. I'm not doing well, you guys, okay? Like, the center stitch here, where it starts, let's see, where is it? Where it starts to look offset. See how off-center it is? Right here. You have to pick up along this and put fringe over this. So I think that the fringe is gonna hide that it's like kind of askew, but I don't like it. So this dress is too short. It's not covering my ass. Anyway, podcaster problems. So anyway, but I didn't make that same mistake for this next one, which is okay because there's no fringe on this one. So I would rather this one be straight. You can see that this one came out straight. Can you see that? Right there. Anyway, you'll see it when it's done and blocked. The first panel is baubles. The second one is plain, so this middle one goes real fast, and you can't really see it because I use such a busy yarn again. And the third one is these really cool triangles right down here, made out of purl stitches. Can you see that right there? And you really can't. Let's see. I'm trying to show you guys this stuff. You know, I hate when I watch podcasts and I can't see what they're talking about. So I'm really sorry. I'm not trying to do that to you guys, but there you go. Do you see the triangles right there? There you go. And so it's a little bit of a stitch pattern there. You do I think three triangle repeats. So I like it. I do. I just really, you cannot see it with this yarn. And I'm really sad that I did it this way. So sometimes these mistakes that we make are a blessing in disguise, because when I make something perfect and it's beautiful at the end, I don't want to use it. I don't want to use it. And as Gigi said this week, we need to use our knits. We need to walk around in them. We need to be proud that we made them. And when people say, where'd you get that? You say, I made it. This was a ball of yarn and I turned it into something spectacular. And be really proud. And I am proud, but I just chose the wrong yarn. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I chose the wrong yarn. I still think it's going to be pretty because you know how like these shawls are, they go around, you know, your neck or whatever, and they look all cozy. It'll look beautiful and cozy with my navy blue coats. I'll let Franny, you know, she steals all the stuff that's cute anyway. So I'm not unhappy with it. I'm just saying if you guys do this, again, this is the Boho Beats shawl by Amanda Kafka. I think she's the Crafty Jackalope, which is a very interesting name. When you do those bind off rows, you have to do it twice. Use Jenny's surprisingly stretchy or go up a couple needle sizes because you want it to be stretchy. Because when I block it, I'm going to have trouble with those rows. So that's that. I would say, you know, use a simple yarn and heed my warnings. Let's see, where's my notebook? My notebook is really crinkly because my kids spill water on everything lately. Now, I'm okay, you know, it's just water. I'm like, it's just water. But it's really getting annoying. Just really getting annoying. Okay. Let's see. Should we go into some stashquisitions? So we have a Brio Trio of the week today. And the Brio Trio is brought to you by Machete Shop Yarns. There's their little logo right there. Machete Shop, which is dyed by Brittany Petco, who I do consider a friend, even though I have not seen her in years, and I'm really sad about that. She owns a farm out in Pennsylvania, right over the border to Pennsylvania from Jersey, so if you're in Jersey, it's not far at all. And she hosts knit nights, so you guys should definitely follow her on Instagram. When she has a knit night at her barn, go. It's so much fun. She has chickens running around. She has a horse. I don't know what else she has, but she grows a ton of stuff. She's just very, very at one with earth and animals, and I love her for it. And I've been taking to buying these whenever I order from people because I've been putting them in all of my different. I have so many knitting bags, and I'm so sick of looking for things that I've been making a lot of notions bags. So if you are able to grab these, usually they run about $4 to $10. So I understand when you're buying yarn, you don't want to really run up the bill, but these are really, really handy. And so this one goes from a size 0 to a size 17 needle, and that should cover most of what we need. It also has a gauge, which makes you want to swatch, I hope. And so I say grab them. They're great. I ordered, this is Marshmallow on her single sock base. And those of you who have been hanging around for a little while know that years ago I made a Tecumseh sweater with Marshmallow as one of the colors. It was the main color of the sweater. Her Marshmallow colorway is absolutely exquisite. I highly recommend it. You can see all of these different speckles. She is Speckle Queen. You see, and it's got a lot of like rust in it, and it's really just a beautiful light cream, and it's gorgeous. So this is their simple sock base. I had bought it on DK for that, and it was great with a size 6 needle and made a nice, beautiful sweater. Then I ordered this colorway called Grassroots. She hardly ever dyes this, and I just love it. I think it's amazing, and I wanted it, so I grabbed a skein of it. And here's her logo, Machete Shop Yarn. And you can see all her animals on there. And it's a beautiful, like, you know, grass green, but she's got like a ton of specks in it. She really speckles beautifully. And then she gifted me this. This is called Roadie Days, again on Simple Sock. And it's a beautiful magenta with some speckles in it. And it's just, I love it. Some yellows in it. You can see some golds. And so when it came, the first thing I thought was, Brio Trio! And what's great about this is that All of these can be Brio duos. These can be a Brio duo. These can be a Brio duo. This can be a Brio duo. This can be a Brio duo. Yeah, I know. So I'm losing my mind. But I really, thank you, Brittany. I absolutely love it. I love this colorway. And it's really beautiful. And I was thinking, like, I was going to use this in a granny stripe blanket that I was just doing random granny stripes in. But I'm like, maybe I should do a tricolor shawl with this because it's really beautiful. So if you know of any fingering weight tricolor shawls, even if they're DK weight, I can double it. So just throw those patterns at me, please, down in the comments, and then maybe I'll do it because I just really love it together. I think it's beautiful. I love Machete Shop. I'm never disappointed in Machete Shop. Okay, next. What else? I have like a ton of books to show you, which is kind of weird. And I know what you're all thinking. Guys, can you please get to your rant, Danny, about the reversal of Roe v. Wade? Oh, it's coming. Oh, it's coming. So years ago, I went to Chelsea Yarns and she gave me one of these bags, and she always has the most fun bags, right? So this is my Chelsea, you can't even see it. It's like iridescent. Chelsea Yarns iridescent bag, and I keep it so nice because, you know, she does these one-offs and I can't get it again, but I love it. So anyway, I digress. My mom and I went down to Paige the Framer a couple months ago, and we decided that my mom had this, well, she had this beautiful painting. It was like, not a painting, it was like a pastel that she didn't have it done. I'm telling this story very badly. One of her friends, I believe from either high school or college, I think it was high school, is a great artist, and she made this pastel of these 3 floating, I don't know if they were fairies or what they were, but they had red hair, and my mother, you know her, my mother and her red hair, and she wanted it. So she said, you know what, I've been through a lot this year, I'm going to buy it. And she got it from her friend, and her friend sent it to her, meticulously packaged, because pastels smear. So we're like, where can we get this framed? And we thought, Paige the Framer! So we went down to Frame and Fiber. We brought the little kids, and they had a ball in her shop. She has crocheted dolls in there. She has amigurumi books. They were all like, buy me this, buy me this, buy me this, buy me this. And then finally, I see Franny like in the corner. She found a phone holder, and she had my phone, and she was watching TV just in the corner, sitting on the floor, put it in Paige's phone holder, and she was having a great time. And it's a really beautiful store, and she has so many frames to choose from. So I know that we all think of her as a yarn store, but she is an amazing framer. I mean, her name was not given to her for nothing. So we went down there. She was so kind to put a mask on for us because we walked in with them, so she thought to herself, you know, and these are things we want people to think to themselves, so you don't have to say it. She said, do you want me to put on a mask? Because you guys, and I said, yes, please. And she did. And, you know, she had a couple other customers while we were there, so we stepped aside because we didn't mind being there for like hours, right? So we were there probably for a little over an hour, and my mom and I bought some stuff, obviously. My mom got a couple things framed. She got that pastel, which I will try to insert a picture here. I don't know if I can because I don't know if it's here in the house or not, or if it's back at my mom's house. But, I mean, she had, like, museum glass put on it, like the stuff that you can look at it from any angle. There's no glare. Paige is she's a good framer. She's got some good stuff there. Everything is high quality and very professional, and I highly recommend using her for a framer. Okay? But if you're a knitter like I am, you want to go straight to the yarn wall. And I bought a bunch of stuff. Now this is from twice because you had to go down to drop it off. We had to go down to drop off the painting, then we had to go and pick it up. And so this is 2 hauls, okay? All right? Okay. So first, I got this Robin's Roost hand-dyed yarn. It says knit, grow, and sew. And this is color Forest. And I really thought that the green was beautiful. Okay. It's just a basic green, but it's very, very tonal. And I don't see a lot of greens in this kind of forest green. I thought it was really, really beautiful. And this is the Robin's Roost. Hooper, where you going, bud? You okay? This is Robin's Roost. I got 2 skeins of that. Again, colorway Forest. Then I got one, again, Robin's Roost in colorway Honey. because it looks like my glazed pecan. And these are all fingering weights because when I'm doing the granny stripe blanket, I like to double it up. It gives a little bit of texture to it. And I think that these are a tighter, less pilly, you know, than using a DK. So I like using fingering weight. So that one was honey. Then I got this one, which was called Bee Balm. And then again, it was Robin's Roost. And this, I mean, obviously, this is my wheelhouse. So I love that. And then I got this colorway on my second trip. Again, Robin's Roost, different tag. And this colorway is called Conch. Beautiful tonal pink. I mean, it's gorgeous. And it's got all this white in it. Can you see that? So I got a couple of those because they always need a friend. I used to buy single skeins of things and you couldn't make much out of single skeins. So now I buy two. Whatever I don't use, I'll destash. And we'll talk about a destash at the end, so please stay tuned. You okay, Mr. Poops? Okay. Then I was so happy to find out that she vends Legacy Fiber Arts. And I believe I knew this deep down in my heart of hearts, but I had never gone there to get it. And you know that Chelsea and, oh my God, did I just forget her mom's name? Chelsea and Sue. Oh my God. Okay, Chelsea and Sue. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I haven't seen everyone in so long. Chelsea and Sue are two of my very, very favorite ladies, and they're Legacy Fiber Arts. See all of the little like sheep, family sheep, Legacy. And this is their, it's called Aquanet. And if you guys had a mother who was in high school in the 60s, like you know that the bottle of Aquanet was turquoise blue and depleted the ozone layer. Thank you, children of the 60s. But, oh, so you gave us great music and then no ozone layer. Whatever. You win some, you lose some. Beautiful colorway. I bought two of them. I'm like, did I buy them in the Steam? I bought one in Cozy Toes and one in Steel Toes. I don't know why I bought them in separate, but I wanted them. So there you go. I just wanted them, but they're beautiful. Look at that. Oh, I love it. Legacy. Amazing. Killing it. So that is my haul from actually going into a yarn store. I know, I'm like so excited. I also got some books. She has a great bookshelf with a bunch of stuff on it. So I don't, let's see, I got a book. I have gone apeshit buying books lately. So I'm trying to remember like what I bought there. I think it was just these two. No, where's the yellow one? It's somewhere. That's the best answer I can give. It's somewhere. So I really like these books, the making books. I think that they're gorgeous. They're really thick. They're probably maybe double thick than Pom Pom. They have a bunch of stuff inside on how to sew, how to make different projects like a macrame plant holder, and it all goes with the theme that's on the cover. So this is number 7. It's called Desert, and everything in here is like a really, really calm desert type of sewing or knitting or something to do with your hands that goes with the theme. And I love these books. Now, they're a bit pricey. They're $26. This is something that you buy to make a library with. So I picked out the ones that I didn't have yet, and I bought, because I have a bunch of them. I think they're like back here. They're right there. Can we see? Can we see? Right there. You see the, right here. So I take a picture sometimes before I leave my house, and then I can like zoom in and see which ones I have, which ones I don't. It's got recipes inside. I mean, that looks delicious. That's salsa right there. And, you know, sometimes it's not about discovering something new. Sometimes it's just about being reminded that you can do this with the stuff you have. So, you know, it's got a home section, and it's just, you know, this is to make this throw if you want to weave this throw. I mean, it's beautiful. So I just think it's really, really handy, these books, and I love them. So this one I picked up, which was Desert. And then I picked up number 9, which is called Simple. And this one has really good patterns in it. Are you okay, Mr. Poops? You need some help? It has the Lomo Shawl by Bristol Ivy. And it's being modeled by Brandy Cheyenne. And I just think the books are gorgeous. Let's see. A coastal glasses case. Like if you want to sew a glasses case. You know, things. We all have fabric. They have this bag pattern right here. I actually might try to make that because I think that is really, it's called the Pepin Tote by Anna Graham. And as I said, there's like a whole bunch of stuff in here. So there's knitting patterns, there's stuff to do for kids, there's hats, there's shawls, there's dresses, there's weaving, there's crochet, you know, all sorts of stuff. So I do recommend the making books. I love them. All right, I'm going to help Mr. Pooper. Give me one sec. All right, let's try not to move the cameras. Getting back up here. Definitely gave myself a wedgie on that one. Let's fix that. My little fluffy dress from Spell. I love it. And I love... Do you guys ever buy jewelry for yourselves? I mean, I don't like go for the big stuff because, you know, that's the husband's responsibility. Just kidding. You should do it for yourself if you can. Never wait for a man to do stuff for you. I buy a lot of my jewelry from Cupcakes and Cashmere. They have cute little earrings like these, little hearts. Some of them are gold, some are gold plated, so there's a lot of price points that you can hit, but I really like the delicate little gold jewelry. My husband got me this ruby for my birthday from Catbird, which is Catbird. You can hardly see it because it's a tiny little delicate little ruby right there. I love rubies. I'm a July baby. I love red. I love rubies. If you guys have any rubies you need to unload, send me pictures. I'll let you know if I'm going to buy it from you. I just love them. And then I also love things that are like stars and moons and celestial things and antique things. So I buy a lot of vintage lockets. You guys have probably noticed that I wear that one that hangs askew. It's like a square, but it hangs as a diamond shape. That is from the late 1800s. I'm not sure. I think this one's from the early 1900s. But, see? And I don't think there's anything really precious in there, any stones that are precious or whatever. A lot of them are made with like black diamonds or CZs, but they really do open. So I have to put something in there. And I love it. So I wear it on my spell dress. See, it's on my spell dress. See? Yeah. So, okay. Stop talking about myself. I also don't really wear my wedding ring very much because after I had the kids, it doesn't fit very well, and it's an antique from 1920. So I'm kind of like, I don't want to like wreck it. I'm like hoping that my joints kind of calm down with the flare-ups and kind of shrink, which we know is not going to happen. But I wear this bow, and this bow was gotten in my mom's jewelry box. I love this ring. I love this ring. You see it? Just a little bow. I like diamonds. Obviously, every girl likes diamonds, but I'm not, like, I feel weird when I have a big diamond on my hand. It's not really me. So my diamond from 1920 is like 0.8, which is, I think, a really nice size. And it's got Art Deco on the sides. It's beautiful. I really should wear it more often if I can. But once I go outside in the summer and my hands blow up, I can't get it off. And I don't want to pry it because it's delicate. So I don't wear it in the summer. I wear this. Which, this ring used to fit on my middle finger before I had babies. It does not anymore. Now it fits on my ring finger. So, if you're thinking about having a baby, get ready for your joints to relax. They're on vacation and they ain't going back. Anyway, I have bought so very many books and patterns I'd like to share with you. And then we will talk about political rants, and I don't even know what to say anymore because it's just so out of hand, but we got to keep fighting. We got to keep fighting, right? So anyway, let's start with this. I don't even have them in any sort of an order, so we're just going to pick them up. I picked up Brandy Cheyenne Harper's book, Radical Self-Care. This is a gorgeous book. Even if you're just having a hard time and you want, you know, you're not in the mood to meditate, but you just need to like center yourself, just read the book. Like, just look through it. The pictures are exquisite. The patterns are masterful. It's beautiful. I just really love how a lot of the things in here, I mean, like, they're just unconventional. I mean, and obviously you don't have to wear it on your head like that, but she makes it look like fashion. And it's just, look at this, like, it's beautiful. And you can bend that down and you have a nice tight cowl with this beautiful top to wear over maybe a plain sweater. What else? She shows how to do everything, picture by picture, tubular bind off, and it's not pictures that are confusing. You know, sometimes you look at things in a book and you're like, I gotta see it being done. Let me go to YouTube. These are done so well on teaching you how to do something. There's a picture for literally each step, and she shows you how to go from one to the next, how to swatch. She even starts out with the knit and the purl stitch. So, you know, you really can buy this book and do everything in the book. I just love this friggin' book. I love it. I don't know. I don't want to show you guys everything because it's not my book to show. Look at this hat. I love this hat. Oh, I'm going to have to make this. It's beautiful. That is the Tehran hat. Look, I mean, look at this. Look, it's exquisite. And I really enjoy how she plays with the geometry in a lot of these patterns. They aren't just like, here's a top-down sweater, you make one here, you know, the stuff we've seen before. She plays with the geometry, and at the end, it's different. You know, there's a lot of times we look at things and we're like, I'm sick of making another sweater, I'm sick of doing this and that. These are different patterns, so I highly recommend buying her book. It's a really great book. It's just to look through, I'm telling you. So, Brandy Cheyenne Harper, highly recommend this book. I'm definitely going to get to something in that book soon. I've kind of started to take up like watercolor, and I want to do embroidery. And I think one of the biggest problems with being a crafter is that we don't usually choose one craft. Like, all of us really like doing all different things with our hands, and we jump from one to the next and one to the next, which is why we end up with a bunch of whips. But I have bought all of these different books. This is a book about painting. I really am loving watercolor. I bought watercolor for the girls, and sometimes at night after they have their treat, we have watercolor wars. And so we each get a nice thick piece of paper, we get a topic, and we have to paint the same thing and see how it comes out. And so sometimes we'll do a sunset, and sometimes we'll do like, Franny did an amazing piece of watermelon. I did a really great Boston cream donut. I'm not even gonna tell you, like, she did a pink donut with frosting. I did Boston cream. Sammy just kind of like, Sammy loves painting. She'll paint like all the time, but she just kind of does like, she does these big messes of watercolor, but sometimes I look at them and they're just beautiful, and I'm going to frame a couple of them. She did one that had like these light browns and dark browns and light pinks and melon colors together and some oranges, and it was just splotched all over. She had no rhyme or reason to it, and it was beautiful. And so I keep them, you know, they're my kids. So I bought them this book, which is about painting the planets in watercolor, which I thought was really cool, so we could learn about that. Then I've been getting into some embroidery. So I think Jessie Hooks, you know Jessie Hooks, she's amazing. I love her. She calls me when anything really big is going on in the world. Like when the insurrection was happening, I got this FaceTime call, and she's like, what is going on? Like, we just talk and we sit there, we're like, the world is on fire. This one is Paige Tate & Co. Modern Makers Series, Thread Folk. And I saw Jessie had this book, I think. That's where I saw it. And she was learning how to do embroidery. And I have all the stuff, obviously, so I'd really like to do it. And I just really love these books that take you through how to do it. So you don't have to sit there and pause and start, but you feel like you're doing something, even if it just unlocks little things like how to thread the needle correctly, how to make that first knot to begin. Here are the different stitches. So if you want this look, you can do this. If you want this look, you do this. It's great. I would really like to get into weaving. I have a lot of the knit collage yarn, which if you take off the piece of stellina that's around it, a lot of it is really like roving, and it's really cool because it's all corrugated and you can make really cool things. So I got this book, Modern Weaver. I really like the cover of this book, and I do judge books by their cover. Just saying. I absolutely do. So there is Modern Weaver. I have a loom. I have no idea how to get it started, and I thought maybe this book could help me because I'm really into doing stuff like this with the crochet, the embroidery rings. I really like the weaving inside the embroidery rings. And so I have a bunch of those, and I have a bunch of yarn, and I have a bunch of string. So I just wanted to learn how to do that. So I thought that was really cool with all the bumps in the braids. And it does teach you how to do all those braids. Also, these macrame rings, it teaches you how to do stuff on those. And so I do recommend this book, Modern Weaver. I really, really like the cover of this book. I bought a book on macrame because I, for some reason, am going deep down the bohemian hole. I'm trying to clean my house, get the toys together, and get my house so that it looks like a house that's clean, but that my kids have overrun with toys. That's what I want it to look like. I don't want my shit to be in piles. I want to blame it on the children. So, macrame I thought would be really nice on the walls in certain places. Also, you know me, I like plants. So I do kind of want to make a lot of these plant hangers. When you first walk into my house, I have this big eyebrow window, and I thought hanging some stuff in the corners would be nice. So again, statement macrame. I want to make one to go over the bed in my bedroom, and I thought this was like so Stevie, right? So Stevie Nicks. I love it. Stevie Nicks is probably like, I hate macrame. Stop associating me. But I do. Plant Lady embroidery. I told you I bought a lot of books. Here's another book on macrame. I actually was going to return this one because it has no pictures. Now, unless you're really great at macrame, how the hell do you learn how to do something with no pictures? So, really sorry about that, but it was one of those Amazon things where you're like, I would like to return this, and they're like, we're not going to pay for the return of that, so you can just keep it, and we'll give you your money back. And I was like, cool. This one is my favorite, Feminist Cross Stitch. I think you know I'm a little angry feminist here, which we all should be. Even you boys watching. Thank you. You know, it says resist. When they go low, we go high. Human rights are women's rights. And then we've got Rosie the Riveter, which I think I'm going to be for Halloween. I'm just going to show up at my kid's school dressed like Rosie the Riveter. No problem there. You know, a woman's place is in the revolution. These are things that should be on your daughter's walls. It says angry liberal feminist killjoy. I'm going to replace killjoy with knitter. Angry liberal feminist knitter. That's what I'm going to do. But it's got it all here gridded out for you. So you can see that I can just count the stitches and I should be fine. And I like how they look like, you know, grandma. Very grandma, coastal grandma. Is that that's the new thing, right? Coastal grandma. So I'm going to be an angry liberal feminist coastal grandma. I love it. Ask me about my feminist agenda. Go ahead. Ask me. Burn down the patriarchy. I also got this stitching, color confident stitching. And I got this because I always second guess the colors that I pick for things. And I really want to become more color confident. I think that will help me a lot as a crafter. Because sometimes I spend so much time on something and at the end I look at it and I'm like, ugh, I really don't like the colors I chose. Just like my blanket here, right? I love the gold because my living room's going to be gold. I do not like what I chose for the center here. And when I got kind of in my groove towards the end, I loved these that I picked together. I love them. And so, you know, I want to know why I didn't pick them at the beginning. So that I need to become more color confident. I took a color confidence class with Andrea Mowry and she was great. You know, but sometimes it's hard to translate what you learn into different projects. And so I definitely want to become more color confident. And I like this tells you about the color wheels and how to understand like what goes with what, and like if you're trying to achieve a certain feeling for something, what you pick, and things like that. So I actually really like that. See, it'll show like a whole bunch of colors that are like a family. So if you want to go for like this certain feel, or the, you know, the color here, 3 different projects, same project, I can't do it, done in different colors, and how they all give a different feel. And so learning about the feeling that you're evoking once you finish what you're doing. I also think it was kind of cool because they do it in all different. See, like here's your inspiration pick, right? And these are my colors, right? Because I love like creams and cocos and pinks. And then it shows you the stitching done in those colors, but in a different way. And it's the same picture, but you see how different they are? So I really, really love looking at that, and it tries to really help you figure out where to put what color thread, and also to do swatches with it. So this book I think is indisposable. I love it. Color confident stitching. I know you didn't come here to look at books, but I mean, think about all the stuff that we learn, and you end up in this stagnant place with all of these beautiful, we have all these beautiful threads, all these beautiful yarns. You want to make stuff for your house or your home that evokes who you are and like how you feel about the world. And so maybe that's through color. And then I bought this Free Spirited watercolor book because I really do want to learn how to paint a lot of beautiful flowers, you know, in watercolor. And for me, I'm not someone who can see the depth of color or the subtle changes of color and things, and I want to learn how to do that. So it's got exercises on how to really see the difference between where you know, how you flick your paintbrush. Watercolor paintbrushes are really cool because they can hold a lot of moisture, or you can blot them and make it very saturated. So I really, really enjoy this book. But I love, look how messy this looks. I love that. I love that. When you're a crafter and your tools get messy, it means you're working. I love it. So I think that's it. I'm looking around. I know I bought a lot more stuff, but I don't know where it is. So that's that for now. Okay, so that is the end of the yarn stuff. If you only came for yarn, I bid you adieu, and blessings to you until we meet again. But I'm about to go full on rant, so maybe you want to say goodbye now or stay for it, because I do need you to vote blue in the next election. And I'm not talking about just the president or just this and that. You need to vote blue down the blue line. I'm sorry. What's going on in this country right now is not Republicans versus Democrats. It is fascism. It is imperialism. It is autocracy. It is theocracy. All of these things are seeping into our democracy, and they are going to ruin it. It's like when you have something you leave outside and it gets wet and you're like, no big deal, it'll dry. But then it gets cold and the water turns to ice, and the ice expands and it breaks it from inside. That is what is going on right now. We have leaks. We have people inside our government who took place in an insurrection. We know this because the January 6th panel, which has been wildly professional, and all of the people coming forth to tell what has actually happened during the Trump administration were people that worked with him. They're people that liked the power. And guess what? Even they are saying, this is too far. This is too much. This is going to break America. I don't want to go back into another civil war. I don't want to have to hate someone when I hear that they voted for Trump. I don't want that. You know, when Mitt Romney ran against Obama, I didn't like him for his ideals. I didn't like him. Like is different than being scared of someone. Trump is unhinged. He's crazy. And there are people in this country who are taking the doors that he opened and they are running through them with harmful things. And that is how Roe v. Wade got overturned. We said, no big deal. You know, that Merrick Garland did not get his day to be thought of before the Supreme Court. Obama was very cordial about it. I thought he should have been a little tougher, but I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I'm sure he had his reasons not to. But then Mitch McConnell is a domestic terrorist, and he is blowing everything up. And the fact that Trump, who wasn't even reelected, because like Mitch McConnell will say, you can't have this Supreme Court pick Obama because your term is almost over, and that won't reflect the will of the people. We'll wait for the next election, and then that president will pick it. Well, that is really shitty logic, because the Constitution says that when someone passes away or relieves their post during anyone's administration, they get to choose the next justice. So it was Obama's pick, and he got shit on. Now, I wonder why they shit on him. Oh, I can't think about it. Why would they have done that? Yeah, okay. We don't even have to say it out loud. But the fact that Trump got 3 Supreme Court justices, 3, and they jammed Amy Coney Barrett down our throats, that is bullshit. That is bullshit, which means they make these rules for us, and then that wasn't real. That wasn't our real, for themselves. So the Republicans are terrorists right now. The other day, they voted down a bill that would help veterans. The people who start wars and make veterans, the GOP, voted down a bill to help take care of veterans. Are you effing kidding me? If there's one thing that we should be able to agree on, even amidst all of this polarized party politics, is that we take care of our veterans. Because whether I agreed with the fact that we went to war or not, they should be the most respected in this country. And the fact that we don't take care of these men and women who have families, we don't take care of them when they come back with PTSD or with lost limbs or with all of these other ailments. I mean, this is sick. This is actually sick. So if you vote Republican because of the fiscal conservatism, which is really just another word for racism, when you really look into it, they don't want Black and brown communities to get any money, because if those people are able to crawl out of their cycles of poverty, they just think they're going to replace the white population in this country, and that is their goal. White supremacy. That's it. Okay? So I hope I've armed you with things to say to people when they come at you. The GOP, they take care of our veterans. No, they don't. They start wars, and then they throw our veterans away. That is what they do. Okay? So I don't care if you don't like Joe Biden. I don't care if you don't like Kamala Harris. I do not care if you think that the Democratic Party is a bunch of PUSSIES. I don't know. I don't care. You need to vote down the goddamn line. Because right now, it is crunch time. We are trying to hold off theocracy. I mean, the Supreme Court made that decision based on their own religion. There is a separation of church and state in this country for a reason. It is an extremely important reason. And we need to stop them from putting their beliefs into our laws. That is crunch time. I'm really sorry. I'm sure that a lot of people are like, personally, I don't like abortion. That's fine. You cannot like abortion. You cannot make that decision for someone else. I was brought up in a household that had 2 religions. My father made us go to catechism until I was 13 and I was confirmed in the Catholic Church. And then he said he would leave me alone. I could make my own decisions about it. Fine. On my mother's side, we are Jewish. Catholic, no abortion. Judaism, life of the mother. Okay? Far as I know, both religions are still legal in this country, which may not be in the near future if the Christian conservatives have their way, because they have bastardized religion in this country so very badly. So, if you are someone who is religious, you should be angry at how they're using it as a weapon right now. You really should be angry. Because religion's supposed to be a beautiful thing that helps you explain things in the world that are unexplainable and give you comfort over things that are awful and helps you celebrate things that are good. And it gives you faith. And that's okay. I may not believe it, but I have no problem with people that believe it. I just don't want your beliefs in my body. And I think that is freedom. So, couple weeks ago, well, basically every day, I've just been having these really bad panic attacks. Like, I can hardly drive anymore because this feeling climbs up me and suffocates me in my brain. I've been having very, very bad migraines. I've been going to a lot of doctors. I have to get these really thick glasses. I just really feel like I'm going to faint or seize all the time. And my husband keeps going, you know, let's, of course, get it checked out with doctors. Of course, medical is your first line, of defense, you know, if you don't feel well. But he thinks it's all stress. The other day, I made a list of all the things that are stressing me out. Here they are. COVID. No one believes it's still here, but it's spreading like crazy right now. And just because you don't think people are dying doesn't mean they aren't. People are still dying. Wear your fucking mask. Okay? It's not that hard. Really isn't. Monkeypox. It is prevalent amongst gay men. Doesn't mean it cannot spread. So we have to give the gay community the first dibs on all of these vaccines, but we have to be ready if it seeps into the rest of society. And it is. Kids are getting sick, and we need to figure out why, and we need to pay attention, because I am so effing sick of everyone just worrying about themselves. These viruses that are coming for us, if we don't fight them on a community level, we're toast. That's the long and the short of it. I'm still grieving over my dad. I am crying all the time. I'm very upset that I'm never going to see him or speak to him again. I just really can't understand why someone who was healthy his entire life died so quickly the way that he did. It was just not fair. So think about that all the time. This past 2 weeks, Franny has been very sick. She got a sinus infection. I guess we had sent her to camp because I wanted her to know all the kids that were going to be in her first grade class and not be a stranger to them. And she went to camp like 3 or 4 times. She hated it. I'm not going to force her to go to camp during... It was a very disorganized camp. I mean, I got there one day and all the backpacks were strewn about like it was Armageddon. So we were going to the pool. We were doing other things with her. And then she went to this birthday party and she just wasn't herself at the birthday party. And then she just started coughing, and it was so bad, the coughing. She had 104, 105 fever. So we took her to the doctor. The doctor gave her amoxicillin, and she got a rash on her entire body. She's allergic to amoxicillin. And we didn't figure it out till she was done with the 7 days. So we cured the sinus infection, and then I had to take her back to the doctor because she had spots all over her, and she felt fine. So it wasn't alarming, but still, as a mom, when you wake up and you see your kid covered in spots, when like something like monkeypox is going around, I had a small heart attack. So Pooper went to the ER. As I said at the beginning of this podcast, you know, he wasn't feeling well. They gave him an x-ray. They found a mass on his spleen. They had to take out his spleen and the mass because you cannot aspirate it to see if it's cancer or whatever it was, because it would have bled like crazy. So we took it out. He's doing much better. He's older, and Doxies have trouble with their back legs, so he kind of falls over sometimes. So we're just trying to, you know, but then on days when he feels really great, he'll go on really long walks, but he still has these infections in his paws, and we cannot find a dog dermatologist. I know, he has an eye doctor, but we cannot find a dog dermatologist to help us because the vet has not been able to figure out what's going on, and his hands just blow up and they're like this and they hurt, and he licks them all the time, and I need to fix that because the fact that he's like in pain is driving me crazy. So yeah, I went to the ER, then we had to go to another ER, then he had surgery, and I'm just crying. And then amidst all of this, Sammy turned 3. We had to cancel her party because Franny was sick, Pooper was sick. We're supposed to have the party this weekend. It's supposed to thunderstorm. So this poor kid has never had a birthday party. Like, we've had ones in the house, but like when Franny was 1, we had a huge family birthday party. When she was 2, we had a huge family, like talking all the cousins, you know, my dad's big Italian family, everyone. Sammy has never had one because we locked down when she was 9 months old. So, is that enough to give you blinding anxiety? Yes, and that's what's going on with me, and it's one of the reasons that I'm not podcasting and I'm not making as much as I should. I'm just trying to find happiness. I'm just trying to laugh and make brownies and cupcakes and make my kids happy, and we do a lot of arts and crafts, and I'm trying to clean the house and purge, and so that is why you have not seen me for a very long time. I mean, we have a government where they did not pass a bill that would help vets, and the Republicans were high-fiving each other. Now, if that is not enough to just blow a gasket, I don't know what is. So I'm very upset, and I know you're all going through it also. And I'm going to end the podcast here. I will come back at you next week with a video. I'm going to do a huge destash with all sorts of stuff. And so I don't know if I'm going to put them on Etsy or I'm going to do it in my normal destash account. But I will let you know everything, and there'll be really, really good deals, and I hope you guys will come and help me with that. I'm going to donate a portion of the proceeds to Planned Parenthood or, you know, to abortion access. I'm breaking. Anyway, just wanted to be honest with you guys. But the crafting makes me happy, the painting makes me happy, and so all of you that are going through this with me, tell me how you get to your happy place, because I think we all just need to band together and hold each other tight. And a just quick shout out to Gigi, who is finally on the mend. That was something else that was really bothering me, watching her so sick. We all love her so very much. Send her your love. But don't suffocate her with it. Just send her your love. She came over the other night, she and Shelby. We sat outside and we talked, and it was so nice to give her huge hugs, because I love these women more than life. So, Gigi, my love to you. I'm glad you're on the mend. I really am. This whole community missed you. Anyway, everyone, I hope you have a wonderful August. I will come back at you as soon as I can. And just know that I always want to podcast, and I'm not always able to, and it breaks my heart, but I will do it as much as I can. I have a lot of vlogs coming, so look out for those. Okay? I love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Vote blue down the line. Break the MAGA people in your life. Break them! And make them vote blue. And I will see you all very soon. Love you. Bye.